And hello and welcome to yet another live chat here on LinkedIn Live. Hello, America's What's Cooking. My name is Xenia Paul. I'm the Regional Director for ICA North America. And for those who are watching us religiously, we are here live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And thank you all for watching and joining us. And I do invite you to chat with us. Let us know where you're calling in from. And any questions you have for my guest today, please feel free to ask. And my guest today is a very dear friend. And I'm trying to think when we last saw each other in person. I think it was Barcelona Forum for Young Professional. Jillian, please tell us a little bit about yourself and Braindate.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. I'm Jillian Cardinal. I'm partnership manager with Braindate. You might have known me before in the ICA sector, especially with JPDL. And that's how Xenia and I first became connected, was Forum for Young Professionals. So the last time we did see each other, we were drinking sangria in Barcelona.
We'll do it again.
Hopefully soon enough. And it's funny, I actually became connected with Braindate while I was at JPDL, and I participated in Braindate's at the C2 event in Montreal. And I wholeheartedly fell in love, have been connected with them ever since. And I started with their team officially in January of this year. So as partnership manager, and I say this like it feels like kind of like I had a crush on someone, and then they're like, "We really like you too," and now we're together. So I'm very happy about this and the experience, and happy to be discussing this today and what this will mean for ICA and the ICA North American Chapter Summit. And really high level. So E180 Braindate, so the founding company of Braindate's been around for 10 years and been in the event sector since 2013. But high level, so Braindate, it's a platform that allows people to take an active role in connecting and learning from each other through intentional topic-driven conversations. And it transcends that traditional approach of networking.
Thank you. And this gives me a great segue to what we are trying to achieve with the program of the ICA North America Summit. We are really trying to focus on associations and how to get them from purely surviving, which we've all been guilty of the last 2 years, to thriving and going beyond transcending that survival mode. And how is Braindate helping us achieve that? Because we will be introducing Braindate in the in-person element of the North America Summit. And what is Braindate bringing to this transition?
Yeah. So I'm not going to be saying anything new here. We've all been affected by the pandemic. So whether that's our comfort level and how we engage with one another, how we want to learn, how our energy is being pulled in so many different directions. And, in the past, there might have been certain elements of our event agenda that perhaps could be copy pasted. It's always worked. The persona exercise that we did of who our attendees are, it's been pretty consistent. But if you've done that persona exercise, or if you had that certain agenda where the control C is, kind of right at your fingertips, it won't work moving forward. Just fact of the matter right there. We are not the same. Our attendees are not the same. And what our goals and objectives are moving forward are also not the same. But that being said, this is really, really exciting because it's a catalyst where now we not just can, we should, and we must be thinking creatively. We must be pushing those boundaries, taking those risks, coloring outside the line, because bottom line is, if we want retention of membership, if we want to gain new members, we have to create the experiences that are most relevant to them. So we have to bring that curious and playful eye into everything that we're doing, yet still being strongly strategic based on the goals of our organizations as well, and what we'd like to drive from there. And with so much competition to our time and energy, we need to flip it. So this is now a journey that we can be taking together with our attendees based on their goals, their desired ROI for attending our events, and what our desired ROI is for creating and holding these events. So what's really interesting here, and we're going to talk about that a bit more, is by leveraging Braindate So by taking a crowdsourced approach to our content, to our learning, to our education, everyone is empowered and put in the driver's seat to take an active role to design the learning and connecting and engagement that they want to achieve by attending an event.
And that's exactly what I think. Even today, I was talking to our CEO with Sentil, and he's saying hello, by the way. Hello, Sentil, as well. We can't copy paste. Everything how we've done things in the past are out of the window, and we have to innovate and restructure and really position ourselves in a better position. And this really, why is this important for ECA members to know? Because what we are trying to achieve through the North America Chapter Summit is we are trying to focus on associations. Why is it important for an association to innovate, and especially in their meeting space, because that is one of their big revenue generators. And if we do want to attract those members, if we do want to attract those audiences, we have to think differently outside the box, and we need to have our member suppliers think differently. How can they position themselves as partners? So I think you have touched on so many great elements. But when we were chatting about brain date, you also said it was, why is brain date different? It's so hard to put it in one specific category. And you touched a little bit on that co-creation in terms of education program, networking. So what are some of the challenges to put it into a category?
And I'd like to throw in the chat as well, because we can see what's happening. But if you've participated in brain dates yourself, so whether it was virtual, whether it was in person, whether it's been hybrid even, just let us know, because you have that experience as well. So you know what I experienced 3 years ago when I fell in love, because just like how the brain works, sometimes when it comes to emotions, it's hard to put words to it, but I'm going to do my best. And once you experience it at North American Chapter Summit, you'll know exactly what I'm saying as well. But so the creators of Brain Date, so E180, is founded on education. So our founder, Christine Renaud, is an educator by trade or by training. And the approach that we've had towards education with that teacher-student traditional model, or when you think of even our events, right? So the sage on the stage, one speaking to many, very directed in that way. The way that we're moving towards innovation and the pace that we're moving, they're not necessarily connected and correlated anymore. And when you think of a project or one of those juicy questions that you have yourself, what do you tend to do? You may not go right away back to college or get another degree. You reach out to your friends. You put something on a Q&A forum or a community board. You reach out to your community. You start asking questions and you start knowledge sharing, and you embark upon peer learning. So if the idea of peer learning is brought into our events, a byproduct of peer learning from these deeper and intentional and meaningful conversations is networking. It's just going to happen because you're already having these sorts of conversations on what you want to choose to learn about, what you want to choose to share about. And as a connection from that, you're going to be making deeper relationships and more friends. And think when we come out of a session and you're just ablaze with all different ideas, and you're standing in line for the restroom and you look over and you're like, did you just attend that session? What did you think about XYZ? Right away, you connected, versus perhaps that traditional approach that we've also seen, that we also all know, walking around, whether or not we drink, with a drink in hand. Hi, how are you? What do you do? And trying to find a way that's an icebreaker that can help you jump over that chasm of, what do you do? What's your job? What's your title? So when you have that approach that's topic driven, when you are in the driver's seat and empowered to say, this is what I can share with you, this is what knowledge I can bring, this is what I want to gain, and then you connect based on those topics and connect based on those content, it takes you to a whole different level. And that's just also from the attendee standpoint. If we take a step back as well, let's say as an organizer, you cannot get more real time to see what's relevant and what is a hot topic to your attendees and your community, because they are literally sharing what is most relevant and important to them. And you have that data and that insight where then you can plan your future content, your future conversations, the future focus of events based upon that. So I could keep going because I find it just fascinating. That's why I work with them now. But that's another conversation.
And you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about inspiring each other to innovate through those intentional conversations. When we were chatting before our live chat, you gave me super nice ideas of how to even go beyond the Hello Americas in terms of marketing. So we'll definitely pick up on that idea. I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of shout outs and hellos. Hello from Canada, from Glenn Duncan. He always keeps on his name hidden on LinkedIn. Also from Nina from Ottawa. We have a huge following from Canada. Don, hello from Halifax. Nice to see you. And my colleague Lupong from Amsterdam. Thank you very much for joining us again. And Julie Waterston, who's the Ottawa rep in the UK and will be joining us. So thank you, Julie, for tuning in as well. And we'll just keep on going. So what is in store for our delegates? Can you share a little bit what the experience of Brain Date will be?
Yeah. Okay, so where do we start there? So it's going to be in beautiful Ottawa. And what's going to be fantastic is this is going to be an in-person event. So what's amazing with Brain Date in person is it's an experience. Like any sort of event, there's a moment in time that you create. And what's amazing about Brain Date in person, again, we've been doing this since 2013. This is new for us. There's a lot of, best practices here and what's been working to foster that sort of engagement and connection. But there is that Brain Date lounge. And that's something that Ksenia and I will have some fun designing as well, what that's going to look like, what that space will be like, where you're exiting what the normal is and going into this new reality in a way of where conversations will be held and potential amazing connections to be formed. So that's when you're actually on site. But before that, there's a whole experience as well. So you'll have access to the topic marketplace that I was mentioning before. So what you'll first notice is you're not necessarily seeing, hey, Jillian Cardinal, partnership manager, Brain Date. You're seeing my topic. You're seeing what I'm interested in sharing. And if I'm interested in participating in a one-on-one or a group Brain Date, the focus is on the content. The focus is on the topics. And then obviously there's people around that you can learn about, but you're first seeing what are they interested in? What am I interested in? So you can start perusing from there. You can start scheduling and filling in your calendar from there. And you can also be posting your own topics as well. So it's both ways, posting and then also scheduling to participate in topics. So this is where you can take that very active approach that we should be taking when we're attending and planning our events of why am I attending this event? What do I want to get out of this event? What can I contribute to this event as well for others? And by taking that stance and that approach and that proactive forethought nature to even just going through the Brain Date topic marketplace, your experience will be all the richer.
And that's literally maximizing your attendance at the event, taking our ROI manual, which we have, to the next level, where you're really looking at, time is money. Mm-hmm. We don't want to go out of the office and not achieve anything. So we are already putting in on a lot of content, a lot of business opportunities, but Brain Date should be considered as a solution market for if you have a challenge, try and find the solution with your peers coming to Ottawa. So you're not just traveling away, you're suddenly getting all that brain power to enable you to come up with ideas and innovation. Would you agree to that? Anything to add on how to maximize the Brain Date experience?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And what I would add is, what we're so used to with the traditional, let's say, education sense, or as far as, again, sage on the stage, but this is the idea of, look to your left and look to your right. So peer learning in itself is almost its own track. And that's the approach that we're taking too, because there's going to be fantastic content, fantastic learning, but this is something that you're going to be able to pop into the driver's seat yourself to really steer the experience. So when you go back at the end of the day, whether it's to your organization, bringing it back to delegates, anything like that, you can say, this is what I learned, this is what I gained, this is what I shared. And it just takes it to a whole different level than what we've been doing before in a more passive type of role. Passive is done, active is now.
Perfect. And we couldn't end on a more positive note, empowering our delegates and making them really active in their own event experience. And it wouldn't be a Hello America's What's Cooking show without us inquiring about your preferences in food, restaurants, recipes, anything you want to share?
Oof. So yeah, you asked me about this yesterday. I was really reflecting on this because I'm like, I don't have a key recipe. I love chicken parm. I love Italian. I love seafood. If you want to win me over, let's go out for seafood, whether it's, tapas in Barcelona or up in Maine. I love seafood. And the idea that I planned to Ksenia, can I give them a little bit of a spoiler of what you might do with future recipes? Yes. Okay, cool.
Yes, because it was your idea. So I have to give it to you.
Even though I'm the one that doesn't have a recipe, how fun will it be in the future that we have a Hello America's cookbook? So everyone's favorite foods, everyone's favorite recipes, perhaps it's going to be regional. Maybe I should throw in a poutine since I'm based in Montreal, because I do love it. But we'll be able to share a Hello America's cookbook in the future. Stay tuned.
Yes, thank you very much. And for anybody wanting to find out more about Braindate, please visit their website, www.braindate.com. And this is all for today. Anybody who would like to join me on a future show, please email me at ksenia.p@ecaworld.org. And I only have time to announce our next guest for next week, which will be from the other side of the coin, namely the Executive Director of ISSVD, Debbie Rope, will tell us all about what's keeping association executives up at night in this post-pandemic world. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Jillian.